What's good, everyone? It's Blackbeard What Ifs back here with another What If, and this What If is going to be part two of Ryuma Tanjiro. And yeah, that's basically it. So let's just get into it. So where we left off, Nezuko was about to get started on her training, and really there isn't much for me to de- there isn't much for me to say about it because like her training goes the same as Tanjiro's did in canon. So there isn't really much for me to say about how her training went. The only difference was she was able to get it down quicker than Tanjiro, and that was about it. Like yeah, that's it. And like every single time they started training, Earl Kodaki kept asking Tanjiro if he wanted to train with her, and his only response was to look at him like this and was just like, "No, no, I'm good. I don't need training. I'm fine." And basically, what ends up happening is around the end. Well, no, yeah, around the end of their training, Tanjiro follows Earl Kodaki secretly without them knowing. Follows Earl Kodaki and Nezuko, and they make it to the rock, the boulder. So Earl Kodaki he turns to Nezuko and he says, "Okay, the final part of your training. If you want to ever become a demon slayer, you have to cut this rock." Well, see ya, and he walks off, and she's like, "Wait, what?" And like she's like, "All right, let me give it a try." And like she hits it, and nothing. It nothing. All it does is send like a surge of pain through her because she realizes how sturdy it is. So after many, many, many tries of hitting it, eventually she just kind of gives up in a sense. Well, not in a sense. Yeah, she does give up. And like she bangs her head on the rock and she's like, "How am I supposed to ever become a demon slayer if I can't cut one single rock?" And all of a sudden she hears something in like by the trees. As she's like, "Who's there?" As Tanjiro walks out and he's like, "Yeah, you're right. How are you supposed to be a demon slayer if you can't even do that?" As she's like, "What?" As he points his sword at her and he's like, "Show me. If you want to become a demon slayer, fight me, sister. If you don't fight me, well, then you're gonna die. Because if you can't beat me, how are you supposed to beat any of the other demons?" And she's like, "I'll show you." And she runs at him and everything, and they're clashing swords, and he's like, "Your technique is full of openings." As he does a quick move and kicks her right in the stomach, which sends her flying back and hits a tree as she coughs up some spit. And no, she sits down, slumped over by the tree as he walks over and points a sword at her, kind of like this image now. And he just says, "If you ever want to make it somewhere as a demon slayer, you first have to beat me. But in order to beat me, you have to cut that rock. Now, I'll be training you, but in return, you need to defeat me. All right, sister?" As she's like, "Oh, all right." And she passes out. So, when she wakes up and everything, they get back started on her training. And her training is a lot like Saitama's training from One Punch Man. So, 100 sit ups, 100 push ups, 100 squats, and I think it was a 100-kilometer run. But we're just going to shorten it a lot. So, it's going to be 40 push-ups, 40 squats, 40 sit-ups, and a 10-kilometer run each time. So eventually she does that and everything. And another part of her training, instead of the squats, she has to dunk her head in water to train her breathing. So yeah, she has to train her breathing, train how good it is. And once, man, I'm tired. once she once she's done training, she looks towards Tanjiro and she's like, uh, uh, all right, give me a day. One day to calm down or one day to rest. And then I'm certain I'll beat you. I'm certain of it. And he's like, whatever you say, little sister. As he hops onto the rock and everything. And like he hops on top of the boulder and he sits in like a crisscross manner. As he just sits there waiting and he's like, all right, when you're done resting, come back and I'll be waiting for you. And once that day passes, she comes back up the mountain and she sees the Tanjiro is waiting right there. And she has also been getting secret help from Sabito and I can't remember the name of the other girl. But yeah, Sabito and the other one. And they already disappeared and stuff. But because they thought Tanjiro had it. And he does. So he's like, alright, are you ready? And she's like, yeah, I'm ready. As he's like, okay. He hops down. He's like, hold on. There's one thing I have to do first. As his eyes start to get kind of a red tint. Like they get a red gleam. As he looks at her and he just says, Genjutsu. And she looks at him and she's like, what? And she's like, oh, nothing. Now, come at me. As he points her sword at, or as he points his sword at her and she's like, as you wish, brother. And she charges at him and they're clashing and throwing slices at each other and everything. And for the most part, it looks like Nezuko's losing. But, as everything's happening, she's learning to be more flexible. Stop using anger. Move like water. Flow like water. Don't let it stop you. Just keep moving. And she's constantly doing the movements and everything. And she's turning and twisting and winding around Tanjiro's attacks. And while this is happening, he's like, she truly is getting better with the blade. I never would have thought my sister would ever be like this. Well then, I guess I'm gonna have to start going all out, if that's the case. As, he starts to get a better grip on his sword, if you would. Like, yeah, he starts to get a better grip onto his blade. And, as he's holding onto the sword, she can see that human look that he had. The human look starts to fade away as she sees, the demon Tanjiro, the actual Tanjiro, what he is now. And, she's reminded of what she could have done as a sister. She could have saved him, but he reminds her while they're fighting, he says, stop trying to say what if. Instead, make it be a I will do. Or instead of a what if, make it a I will. So instead of saying, what if I was a little faster, say, I will become a little faster. And just keep moving like that, sister. As she looks at him and she's like, okay, now let's do this. As, he gets in a stance. He holds out his sword kind of like this as he's like, all right then, come at me, sister. And she runs at him. And they clash blades a few more times, and they're clashing and throwing slashes at each other. And eventually, uh, he swings down on the blade, and she swings up, and their blades hit, and like they're uh fighting each other. And while all this is happening, she's realizing that Tanjiro's getting a little faster with his movements. As all of a sudden, he gets in the same stance as before, like he's about to do a thrust, and he's like, "All right, are you ready, sister? Because this one attack will end it all." As she gets in a stance, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm ready." As you know, he exhales and then just thrusts his sword forward. As it, all of a sudden he's behind her, and at first he thought he won, and he's like, maybe you need a little bit more training, sister. As he turns around and he sees her falling back, and all of a sudden she stops herself from falling back, and she turns around and she runs at him, and she says, "Water breathing, 10th form, consistent flux." And she's just like running at him, and he can see the water on her sword turn into a type of dragon. As he's backing up, trying to clash blades with her, but each time the dragon's kind of like batting his sword away. So he's like, "Huh? All right. I see this is gonna require a whole lot more energy then." As he starts getting this bluish aura around him, and then he starts putting more strength into his blade, and it's still not stopping him. And he's like, uh, "All right then." And he gets ready, like he's what was it? He puts his blade up in the air like he's about to do this big slash downward, when all of a sudden he loops his arm around and does a uh like upward slash instead of a downward. And right as he's doing an upward slash, she's doing a downward slash. So their blades hit, and she win. Like a flash of light hits, and Tanjiro, like both Tanjiro and Nezuko close their eyes, and when they open their eyes, well, Tanjiro's blade isn't in his hand anymore. So she points his blade at him, and she says, "It looks like I win, brother." As it's basically like this, like she's pointing her blade at him, and he's just like, "I guess you did win. All right then. I guess you can become a demon slayer, little sister." As all of a sudden, from her point of view, it looks like Tanjiro's fading away, and she's like, "Wait, what happened?" As she looks around, she sees everything starting to wobble a little and disappear and go back to normal, as it shows that she cut through the rock. That's one of Tanjiro's blood demon art. Like his blood demon art is to make genjutsu, a false reality, an illusion, if you would. Now, Tanjiro's sitting, like he's leaning on a tree clapping, and he's like, he's like, "Wow, I never would have thought my baby sister would grow to become so strong." As he walks towards her, and she's like, "For a second I thought you died." As he hugs her, and he's like, "Trust me, I'm not gonna die until Muzan is dead. That's for certain. All right." And she's like, "All right." And once that happens, they go back to Urokodaki's place. They open the door. They see he's just, making some food. Nezuko's hair grew out a lot. They cut it down a little. Not a whole lot. Like, she still has long hair, but not as long as before. And they're like, "All right, now," or Urokodaki's like, "All right, now you have to go take the crap, I can't remember what the name of that exam was. Basically, they're stuck on a mountain for a week and they have to survive without dying from demons, and then they'll become demon slayers. And Urokodaki's like, alright, you two have to go. Here, both of you, take these masks. So Nezuko gets the same one Tanjiro used to have, or the same one Tanjiro had in canon, while Tanjiro gets, what's it called? He gets a, uh, crap, I'm trying to remember the name of the mask. He gets kind of like this. Basically, he also gets a fox mask. I can't think of the name of the mask, so I'm just gonna give him a different one. He gets a fox mask, and it's a black and red one. Or no, it's a black and purple fox mask. So, you know, he puts that one on his face because he just doesn't feel like turning back. So he puts that one on his face and he starts walking, and like they say thank you to Urokodaki, and they say, all right, well, we'll see you later, and they start walking away and everything. And while that's happening, they're walking. They keep walking. They make it to the exam. They see so many different demon slayers, or so many future demon slayers, because they see a yellow-haired boy with yeah, just a yellow-haired boy looking scared out of his mind. They see another kid with a mohawk type haircut. I don't really know what the heck Genya's haircut is called. I don't know what to call it. Mullet type thing. I don't know what the hell it is. But yeah, they see a kid with black hair with a really weird looking hairline, looking like a damn arch. Looking like a whole math equation on his head. And then they see a dark-haired girl that looks kind of, how would you put it? Her eyes look kind of glossed over in a sense, because she just kind of looks a little sad-ish. And that girl being kind of Ao. And just a whole bunch of other unnamed demon slayers, because, you know, who needs them? They're finna be dead. And the two girls, they're like, alright, this is the exam. If you want to become a demon slayer, you need to kill at least one demon and you need to make it through the night. Or make it through the week without dying. If you can do both of those, then you will become a demon slayer. Is that are we under is that understood? As everyone nods their heads as she says, "All right, let it begin." As while that's happening, or not while that's happening, when they say go, Nezuko and Tanjiro, they run off together into the forest. And you know, they're doing pretty good so far. Tanjiro's killed a couple demons. So has Nezuko. She's killed like 4. Tanjiro's killed like 16. So basically they're passing in terms of that. And Tanjiro not really being able to die, he's definitely passing. So, you know, he tells Nezuko, he's like, alright, you go off that way, you go left, I'll go right. As you know, they go in their directions. And as Tanjiro's going right and everything, all of a sudden he senses a whole bunch of what would you call it? Demons. He senses a whole bunch of demons surrounding him. So, you know, he stops moving and he's in kind of like this clearing almost. Where all of a sudden a whole bunch of demons, they drop down. They're like, we were waiting for you two to split up. As he's like, huh? What are you all talking about? What are you peasants talking about? As, you know, one demon's like, well, you see, we've been hoping you two would split up so we could send our bigger friend to deal with your girlfriend or whatever, as we deal with you. As, you know, from far away, he can hear, you know, kind of a scream of pain coming from Nezuko, and he's like, what? no, and like he's trying to run, but they're stopping him, and like eventually he's just getting more and more pissed off while this is happening, and eventually he stabs one demon straight in the neck. He stabs one demon in the neck, and he just looks at them, and he's just like, "Get away from me!" As he just knocks all of them unconscious. All the demons that were there, every single one of them that were trying to kill Tanjiro, and he just proceeded to knock them all unconscious. And it wasn't like anything else. The way he did it, he blasted them back as well as knocking them out. So now he's running towards Nezuko, and he has this blue aura around him. His sword is starting to glow slightly purplish because now he's pissed. So his sword's starting to glow as he's walking, or like not running. He is like sprinting full power towards where they are. And once he makes it, he he goes there to see Nezuko's hurt and like kind of bleeding from her forehead. And when that happens, he runs up, he grabs her, he jumps back, he sets her by a tree. He's like, "Just wait right here. In a minute, it'll all be over. Just give me 1 second, okay?" As he sheaths his sword for a second and walks towards the demon. The demon being the hand demon that Tanjiro originally fought in canon. So yeah, it's just that demon. As the you know, their conversation kind of goes like how it did in canon, with the demon saying that it killed Sabito and the other one and the girl, and Tanjiro getting kind of pissed but not acting like how he did in canon. So he's running towards the hand demon, and the hand demon's about to shoot hands at him to like hit him or something, but each time they're about to hit him, they all of a sudden just like get chopped up into little pieces. And eventually it's like, what the heck is happening? As his blue aura that he has, it skyrockets. Like the aura starts to glow even more, a brighter blue, as you know his eye is starting to get a red tint around it, as he instantly ends up behind the the hand demon, as he just says, "Sixfold reality slash." And in an instant, it's almost like everything just shattered. It's as if reality just broke. Because in an instant, it's as if the demon just wasn't there. You heard a scream, and then it just stopped instantly, abruptly. And I know that's not how Ryuma fights, but what if I want him to break reality, he's going to break reality. If y'all don't want that, make your own YouTube channel or fight me. I don't care. So yeah, pull up. I know some of y'all are hackers, so y'all could probably find out where I live. Pull up. I'll be ready. I'll be waiting on y'all with a bat. Come on, I dare you. But uh, after he does that, Nezuko, she was awake to watch the demon basically fade from existence. Well, not even fade, just kind of blip out of existence. And once that happens, once that demon dies, he picks up Nezuko and he's like, "All right, let's go like find some place to heal you for the rest of the week." And he heals her and everything, and they spend it takes a day to heal her. So then afterwards, they take the rest of the week just like chilling, killing a couple demons, training. And once the final day comes, or not final day, once the end of it comes, they're leaving. They leave the forest and they meet back up in the main place. It's like this big opening, and in the front of the opening, in the middle of the opening, there's a box with all these different rocks, and in the front of it, you can see these two girls. And the girls, they're like, congratulations on becoming a demon slayer. All of those that are not here will be classified as dead. And they're saying more stuff as all of a sudden this one kid wearing kind of like a purple I think it was purple. Yeah, a purple outfit. He grabs one of the girls by the hair, and just because this is my own version, he'll say whatever I want. He'll just say, "Bitch, give me my sword. I don't care about all this. Give me my sword." As instantly Tanjiro's grabbing onto his wrist, and he's like, "Hey, hey, hey, calm down. You don't have to do all this." As uh as what do you call it? As the dude looks at him and he's like, "Oh yeah, what are you gonna do about it?" As Tanjiro starts to uh squeeze tighter and tighter on the random dude's fist or on his wrist, more and more, and you can hear the cracking, and it sounds painful. As all of a sudden you hear a big crack as the dude's like, uh, uh, my my arm. I think you almost broke my arm. Uh, and like he pulls it away, and he's like walking off as he turns to the little girl and he's like, "So, are you all right?" As the girl's like, "Yes, yes, thank you." She's like, "No problem." And they they the girls start talking again, and they say, "All right, pick any pick any ore. Depending on the one you pick, that one will be your weapon." As Nezuko, she goes off a smell like how Tanjiro used to. Tanjiro now, he can just kind of see stuff that most people can't see. So he's looking at the ores and he sees one ore in the corner, and that ore is just covered in this dark purple aura, just this evil, sinister aura. And he picks it up and he's like, "This one. This one will be my sword." As they're like, "All right, it'll be sent to you shortly." As he's like, "All right, let's go. Come on, let's go home." As she's like, "All right." And now they go home and they go home. Earl Kodaki's happy about it. Happy that they're home and alive. Tanjiro tells him that he killed the hand demon. Urokodaki cries a little, hugs Tanjiro. Tanjiro's like, "Okay, I don't know how to respond to this, so I'm just gonna pat you on the back." And they spend the rest of their week just or the rest of their time until the swords come, just chatting and everything. Until one day Tanjiro goes outside and he sees a man coming towards their thing, and he waves. That man waves back. They let him in. Or like once the dude makes it to the house, they let him in. He pulls out the two swords. First one is Nezuko's. He puts it on the thing. He's like, "Please be a red blade. Please be a red blade." She touches it and it turns pink. Like, yeah, it turns pink, and then it has everyone kind of just like, "What? What in the world is this?" As it turns pink and then it turns black, and they're like, "What? What in the heck?" Like, yeah, like it just turns completely black, and they're like, "Whatever, okay then. I don't really know how to respond to that. All right." As then they're like, "All right, well, here's your sword, sir." As they pull out another blade. No, it looks like a regular black blade at first until Tanjiro touches it, and the blade starts morphing and turning as they see this purple aura come from it, and it starts turning and bending and curving as the guard, the handle guard, starts to turn into like this clover pattern, this 3-leaf clover pattern. As all of a sudden the sheath turns purple and the handle turns purple, and like it turns purple and gold. As they're like, "All right, well, I think it's done now. You can pick it up." As he picks up, he unsheaths it. He looks at it. They're like, "All right, what are you going to name it?" As he just holds it up like this and he just says, "Enema." "Yeah, that's a good name. I think I'll name you Enema." the cursed blade of the hell. And he's like, hold on, let me test it out. As he goes outside and he he starts to use he starts to swing the sword around, and then all of a sudden the sword gives off this purple aura, and so did his body at first. And he's like, what the heck is this? What is this? As all of a sudden his arm's getting covered in this black whatever it is, this black coating, and he's like, what is this? As no, he's raising the sword, and his aura explodes outward, and causing everyone to come outside. And they come out and they see him. They're like, what's happening? As he just he's like, enough, and he swings the sword, causing it to just cut straight, like send a slash going straight down the mountain, cutting every tree. Well, not every tree, but cutting most of the trees. And while that's happening, after he sends that powerful slash, he looks at his arm, and they see that his arm is shrinking. It's going down the bone, and now the bone is starting to disappear as well. And they're like, oh crap, what do we do? What do we do? As, he's like, hold on, I think I have an idea. As he holds out the sword, he puts a whole lot of energy into it, and he hits the sword against a rock. As he just says, give it back. And right as he does that, and, he hits the sword, all of a sudden, his arm goes back to normal. And he's like, I didn't actually think that was going to work. As Earl Kodaki, the blacksmith, and Nezuko, they look at him and they're like, you didn't? And he's like, no, I was legit expecting it to take my arm, and that was going to be it. Oh, well, I guess now I have two swords. As he puts them in his, he attaches them to his waist. Well, not at the moment, because at the moment he found like a something like this for them. So, he puts them on there, and he's like, all right, we'll go on our mission tomorrow. So, all right, guys, let's go to bed. As the blacksmith goes home, and him and Nezuko spend time looking at their swords and everything. As she's like, I promise, with this black blade, I will prove them that not every person wielding a black blade will die easily. Or die quickly. As Tanjiro's holding his sword, and he's like, I will show everyone that even demons can sometimes be human too. As they raise both of their swords up, and they tap their swords together as they say together. And that's actually where I'm going to end it off for now, because I am tired as all hell. And yeah, that's literally about it. There's not a whole lot that I do with my time, because I think I have school today. So yeah, probably not going to do well, but I don't really care. I'm tired. So there's going to be a couple things changing. And those things being me not caring. So yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna, well, yeah, that's it. So I'm literally just gonna go to bed. I'll see you guys later. I'm probably gonna make another video later when I get home from school. So yeah, this is Blackbeard What Ifs signing off. See you guys.